Wisconsin Lutheran College teamed up again this year with Friends of Beaver Lake to monitor the health of the most beautiful lake in southeast Wisconsin. We aim to monitor the whole ecosystem in Beaver Lake, and so this year's video follows those organisms from the base of the food chain, the plants and algae, all the way up to the top carnivores of the lake. To understand the plant community of the lake, we surveyed lake plants with a rake at more than 250 established points, and we also sent divers down on a very rainy day to capture footage of the plant community. Cara, or muskgrass, makes up the barren-looking expanse you see here. It continues to be the most abundant plant in the lake. It's common in lakes with a marl bottom, like Beaver Lake, and is easy to identify by its musky odor. Its stems and leaves accumulate a surface of calcium carbonate, giving the plant a gritty texture and contributing to the marl sediment of the lake. Potamogeton species, such as the tall plants you're seeing here, are better at providing vertical structure to the plant community than Cara is, and therefore provide a more diverse habitat for many invertebrates and fish. Our data suggests they are less abundant today in Beaver Lake than they were 12 years ago. Other common plant species in the lake include slender and spiny naiad. This year, we even found a bladderwort, an aquatic carnivorous plant that captures zooplankton. Even though it's an invasive species, Eurasian water milfoil also provides great habitat for invertebrates and fish. Notice the conspicuous black snails clinging to some of the plants. We often find other invertebrates, like damselfly nymphs, on these plants as well. Fish, such as these blunt-nosed minnows, find shelter in the milfoil forest, and this crappie finds foraging grounds here as well. Eurasian water milfoil spreads easily via fragments, which will opportunistically sprout roots after they've drifted to new locations. Here, you can see their white, filamentous roots beginning to form on the suspended stems. If you see a drifting fragment, be sure to pull it out and discard it on dry land. The phytoplankton, or drifting algae, in the lake feed many of the invertebrates and zooplankton within the lake. Here, those plankton are being collected in the field with a fine mesh net, and then they are identified and quantified in the lab. On average, we collect about 20 zooplankton per liter of water in the lake, which means if you've ever gotten a mouthful of lake water on Beaver Lake, chances are you played temporary host to one. And finally, the fish. A lot of that energy from the producers, the zooplanktons, and the invertebrates makes its way up the food chain into the fish of Beaver Lake. We track populations of forage fish using seine nets along the shoreline, and larger fish using pike nets seen here. Collectively, Beaver Lake's fish feed at every level of the food chain. These blunt-nosed minnows will incorporate algae into their diet, while common carp will root into the sediment for young plants and invertebrates. Most fish in the lake have a diet that focuses on animals. If you look closely, you'll see rainbow darters, which zip around the cobble and feed on bottom-dwelling insects. Bluegills also feed mostly on these insects, whereas this pumpkin seed is well adapted to eat hard-shelled animals, even invasive zebra mussels. Piscivorous fish in the lake are the top carnivores of Beaver Lake. Fish like these long-nosed gar, this walleye, and this northern pike all eat fish themselves, but neither they nor their prey would be here without the lower levels of the food chain. Within Beaver Lake, each level of the food chain is intimately connected to the other. By monitoring everything from the plant communities to predator fish, Friends of Beaver Lake and Wisconsin Lutheran College are working to conserve this resource as one to be enjoyed by all for years to come.